right, go ahead, Jimmy.
Rick, Gus Manning passed away. Your thoughts on Gus and your relationship with him?
You know, really sorry to hear that. I was fortunate to get to know Gus when I first got here, and he really embraced me, took me in, and I actually just walked back there because every time I've had people come on campus, one of the things I would do when I came into Thompson Bowling Arena would get the key and go in his office and let people see how time has kind of stood still. And I remember, I think it's February 8th, 2017 was the last game that he saw us play here, and I can remember going in, and oftentimes he had a big old microscope, magnifying glass that he'd be reading the stat sheets, and the last time was when we played Ole Miss here back in February 2017. But he was obviously an icon, a legend, and we lost a true legend. But he loved Tennessee, and he loved this place, and I did have a chance to go to one of his parties out there, but we truly lost a great legend today.
He held a lot of jobs here, a lot of duties he had.
He did. He used to tell me about all of them, you know, how he, from picking cheerleaders to doing everything, you know, he just said that, and Tom actually has a great photo in his office where looks like he's holding everything in a briefcase as he's celebrating a big football win. And he, again, at the time, I mean, people tell me back in the day when you know, everything was just really kind of getting started, that he wore every hat that you could wear, and the fact that, you know, he was so. I walked in one day and I had a jacket on, and he said, "Coach, I really like that jacket," and I said, "Well, I'll get you one." And it was not a university issue jacket; it was just a jacket, really warm jacket. And I'm looking at him. I said, "What size would you wear?" He said, "Coach, I'm a XXX." I said, "There is no way you're a XXX." And I had an extra large jacket on, and I had him put it on. It came about right here on him. I didn't realize how big he was, and he absolutely was a XXX. And you wouldn't know it, but again, he's a person that every time you're around him, he had something that he could share with you, and I love telling stories. And again, back on his wall back there, he's got photos up of Bear Bryant, Adolph Rupp. You go through the line from the 50s on. He's got all those legendary coaches and people that he worked with. I think he's got up every, obviously, I think he had up most of the coaches here, but he does that, did do that. But again, he loved this place, and this university loved him.
What are some things that you would maybe tell your current players who didn't get the chance to be there when he was watching games? What are some things you would tell them about him?
Well, there's a monument out back. It's been here since he's left, and that's his little golf cart. It's still sitting out there. It's got some flat tires right now, and people tell me back in the day they would see him running up and down Kingston Highway with it. You know, it's street ready, but it hasn't moved since the day he's left, and it's there. And I think, again, that shows you out of respect how much people respected him, because I'm sure he kept the key with the full intentions that he's planning on coming back driving that little cart. But if you leave today, you walk out there, it hasn't moved since the day that his last day here.
Do you still feel as positive, I guess, as you did about some things the other night after you went back and watched it?
You know, I do. I think that anytime you have a group of guys that played as hard as we played and had to play against the team, it was just, they were on fire, making some great shots. And but the way our guys, with a group of guys that hadn't played a lot together, their effort, their intensity, and willingness to do whatever they had to do, I thought it was really, I felt the same way about it, where you know, I just know that we showed a lot of fight and had to overcome a lot with guys being out and different guys coming in having to do some things, but it certainly gave us something we can build on.
Any idea on Julian and Josiah for Wednesday?
It'll be game day ready. You know, we'll go with them. Won't do much with them, either one of them today. Obviously, let them try to get as healed as they possibly can. But if not, whatever we have, we've got to go play.
What type of opportunity would that be for Jemiah if neither of those guys can play?
I thought he did a great job Saturday, just competing as hard as a person can compete. And I thought BJ's minutes were good and as well. But I was really impressed with Julian. I mean, he was hurt. He had hurt his hip flexor prior to that, but he tried, and the minutes he was there, he was productive. But he got, I could tell when we were walking off the floor at halftime, he was painfully hurting. But you know, he wanted to play, but we just no way. But it will give. It's always when somebody goes down, it gives someone a chance to step in and play, and they wouldn't be here if they weren't good players. And it'll give them the opportunity to see what they can do.
Rick, considering the way you've lost the last two games, do you feel this is a team that really needs a pat on the back as opposed to kicking the butt?
Well, I think we'll be who we are. I think the main thing is you're always real. And like what I told you guys, I told them. I was proud of the fight, and I think they know I'm gonna be honest with them because when we scrub out film and all that, I think players easy can understand when you're not being real with them. And if I thought they needed a kick in the butt today, that's what I would give them. If I thought they needed that after the game, that's what I would have given them. But that's not what I felt. I felt like we had fought and that we gave it everything that we had. Got beat on a desperation shot. You go back to the game against Vandy, that was a defensive breakdown that we shouldn't have had. But that game, that was one of those desperation shots that we couldn't have done it any different, But the fact is, players, we all know each other. And the main thing, anytime you go through and deal with the kind of losses we've had, every person's got to deal with it in their own way. But the fact is, the one thing that has to happen as a team, you've got to stay connected, and this group of guys will stay connected.
People are comparing Brandon Miller to KD's year with you at Texas. Do you see any similarities between the two?
I don't think that's fair to do player comparison. I know this, that Brandon's having a great year, as is Kevin Durant. I mean, Kevin Durant won every National Player of the Year honors you can win. I mean, he's the first freshman to ever sweep them all. But Brandon Miller's got high-level game at every level. I think Brandon Miller is Brandon Miller. I think Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant, and certainly Brandon Miller has made an unbelievable impact on college basketball this year and doing the things that he's good at, and obviously has a great future in this game. And I look at the Alabama team. I think they're more than worthy of being the #1 ranked team in the country. They've earned it without, again, maybe should have been there before right now. And they have a great roster construction where I think everyone understands what they need. And guys play their roles. They've got the perimeter game. They've got rim protection. They've got guys that can score. They can get to the rim, throw over top, dunk the ball. And Nate Oates and his staff, they've done a great job. And again, they have more than earned the right to be the #1 team in the country. And like I said, I think they probably should have been there before now.
How do you slow down Brandon Miller? Obviously, you mentioned how good he is, but how do you stop a guy like that at all?
Well, I don't think you stop great players. You can't. You got to try to work hard, and when the day's done, he's going to get his points, and you just got to hope that he had to work to get all of them. But when it comes to playing against great players, great teams, you're not going to stop them. You just got to hope that everything they get, they had to earn it.
You think Alabama's a better defensive team than given credit?
Absolutely. I mean, they're perimeter guys. Do what they need to do. They understand there. They've got rim protection inside, and I believe that they believe, hey, you want to go in there? We got some guys that can clean things up, and they'll play personnel. They'll play analytics. They'll do all that. But yeah, they would not have been able to win some of the games they've won in places that they've won without being solid defense, more than solid. They're a much better defensive team than I think people give them credit.
Did y'all learn about yourselves down 17 at home, coming off that Vandy loss, short a couple players, and to come back and take the lead?
I think it just shows you our team, and again, there's a lot of basketball left to play, and the fact that we did what we did, guys are ready to go in and play, but what we need, it goes back to we need more consistency out of certain players, but again, I can't say enough about Tyreek and Jemai and Tobey. Certainly Z and Santi, both of those guys played their hearts out. They let their emotion get going a little bit, where they both had some uncharacteristic fouls that they shouldn't have, but that's just from being high-level competitors and just going at it. And then Jonas, I thought, did a good job, and I thought Olivier showed that he can really guard when he came back in the game in the last couple of minutes there. We need that all the time, and I thought Uros's minutes were there, but games get into matchups and what we think we have to do, and when we made the adjustments that we felt we had to make, I'm just really proud of the fight that these guys put up.
You mentioned consistency. Do you think you're on the verge of getting that from Tyreek now?
Yeah, I hope so. I thought he missed some shots early, but he kept that thing loaded and kept shooting, and that's what we need him to do, and doing it in a lot of different ways. And yeah, that, and again, I thought Julian came out with a great mindset too, but yeah, I do think Tyreek and obviously right now at the time that we need them all to get consistent.
How important is it to get Tyreek those early shots, even if they don't go down?
He's got to shoot it. I mean, I tell these guys, if they don't take open shots, they're never going to get in rhythm. They've got to get some rhythm going, and even though if you miss a few of them, and the key is when you do miss them, you've still got to be willing to take your open shots. You can't stop, because once you stop, you start turning down shots. Other people sense it. Other teams do, certainly, and it can affect your team. And we just need our guys to, when they get the looks that we want them to get, they've got to take it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.